Good morning, folks, and como estas? Welcome to the Average Joe Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Jay Real, bringing you finally another episode of the show. Now, we've been on a hiatus for a few months. A lot of reasons for that. One, congratulations to me. I'm a proud father of a brand new baby girl. So that's been really on my plate over the last couple, 3 months. But it's been a joy and it's just an honor and a privilege, again, to be a father of a newborn baby and to bring them into the life and to help guide their lives in a positive way. So that's been my main priority. We've also, of course, been in business and running businesses day in and day out. We just haven't had time to do a new show. Now, with that being said, there is so much. You might hear my baby girl in the background. If she gets a little out of hand, I might have to cut away, take a little look at her. But right now, we're going to try to just push on. There's so much stuff going on in the sports world with the NBA Finals going on, the NFL football draft just happened last weekend, and just so many numerous things going on. There's no way on God's green earth I'm going to be able to cover all of it, but we will get to the meat and potatoes of the sports world over the last few months. First and foremost, I'd like to say heads up and kudos to the NBA. They're doing really well. They had a lot of good pairings. They had a lot of good teams battling out the first round of the playoffs. There were the record-breaking 7-game series for this season. More 7-game series than ever before, and some great basketball. Now we are into the second round, and of course Miami's just running through their opponents. They had no problems of taking out the Brooklyn Nets. Now, with that being said, again, Miami is the team favorite. They're the 2-year reigning champion, and they're going to be hard to beat. Fingers crossed, though, that OKC, because I feel that they have the best chance to come out and win against the Heat. People are also pushing for the Spurs. Now, the Spurs are playing phenomenal basketball. They're like running clinics on their opponents. The problem with them, again, is that if they get a chance to go to the finals, they are going to have a hard time winning games against the Heat, especially if it goes a 7-game series, which is probably more likely what would happen. So, what we're going to do is, because we're really excited about this new show, it's been a while, I'm going to cut away just for a second because we're going to try to get someone in studio with me to cover some of these big sports events that have been going on and some of the big issues that are going on in the sports world. So just don't go anywhere. Hang tight. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back in the studio. We were able to snag Gonzo. It's been a while, buddy.
It's been a while.
But anyway, he's probably just as frustrated about sports as I am, to say the least. There's so much stuff going on in the sports world. I just covered a little bit about the NBA. We're talking about the Heat just running through their opponents, possibly San Antonio being there at the end also. But because of their age, it just seems they always seem to wear down when they get into that big last game. What's your takes on the finals so far? What do you think what's going on in the NBA?
You know, I mean, watching a few of the games and stuff, I didn't think the outcome. I mean, I obviously knew the Heat were going to be there.
Yeah.
The way things played out, I just really, the way it's all set up, I figured Clippers would be there.
Mm-hmm. I thought the Nets would put up a bigger fight.
Yeah, I figured they would too. I was rooting for them. Garnett,
they were able to get one.
Pierce. I figured they do something, but they just couldn't get it together.
Yeah.
Watching that game last night was it was hard. But then to talk about that, I mean, you go with the Clippers and you go with the Nets and their calls that they got over those games. I mean, those were pretty bad calls, and if those may determine the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
The way they were calling the fouls and things. But yeah, I mean, I want either KC or the Clippers to take care of Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the Spurs. I think they're good, but I just think they, like you said, I think their age, they're showing it at the end, and it always comes down. But it would be real fitting for that team to come back and just stomp the hole.
The Spurs folks are playing like phenomenal basketball. They look like they're all, the three stars look like they're about 10 years younger than they are. And they're playing basketball like that. So we'll just kick back. We'll do another show to wrap up what's going on in the second round of the finals in the NBA. Real quick note. I'm not sure if you've heard, though, but right now it's going across the wire in the NFL. They went ahead and charged Aaron Hernandez with 2 more counts of first-degree murder. Folks, this guy was already in a world of heat to begin with. Now 2 more counts. 2 more first-degree murder counts. What do you think about that?
Don't drop the soap.
Yeah, for sure. He better kick it to the corner. But anyway, he's in a world of hurt, and the NFL right now, bro, has got me in a place where, okay, so the draft happens, Manziel drops all the way down to, I think, 22nd or something like that.
Right.
It doesn't bother me that he dropped. What bothers me more about than anything is that there's all these teams, and they're just focusing on defense now. If you think about it, the first, I think, 10 or so picks. I mean, there was one receiver in there, but it's like all of the big picks were defense.
Yeah.
Is the NFL ruining football? Because now there wasn't even a running back in the first round.
Right.
That is crazy to me. I mean, is the running back so just crap that go to the 3rd and 4th round and pick your
from what I understood and listening to a lot of the commentators and just the aspect, the way the game's been going, and going back even further with Tebow and that kind of stuff. I've seen the NFL and I've seen these teams that are drafting as far as quarterbacks are concerned, they're wanting somebody who sits in the pocket.
Right.
They want that. That's what they want. Now, with that being said, they don't want that running back. They don't. They need that blocker. That's what they want. They don't really need the Chris Johnson or the Adrian Petersons. They want somebody who will stand out there and help their quarterback. So that's probably why none of the running backs made it that high. Now, as far as the defensive side, I've seen a lot of teams start going more defensive, and the reason why is because of the Seattle Seahawks.
Right.
They're building off of that. They're trying to build that type of team and trying to mesh everything together. And you got to say, that Super Bowl, it was all defense.
Yeah. And now, speaking of the Super Bowl, I mean, I have to honestly say I was pretty shocked and surprised about it. But yeah, so the template for the defense is the Seahawks, and people are just kind of lining up
and they had called that kind of out right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
About 2-3 weeks into it, they were like, don't be surprised if the draft, when it drafts comes around, or the free agency even comes around, that these guys start picking up some of these no names and stuff and trying to put them and fix them into their teams to try to build off of the Seattle Seahawks, because that's pretty much what they did. They had a bunch of guys that were no names, didn't really have you knew of them, but they didn't. And out of nowhere, they just came out and did their job.
Right. So I guess that's the tip. So now because the NFL's pushing for defense over our offense, they're so offensive heavy. So basically now they're saying we're going to stick it with our quarterbacks and our wide receivers, blockers, and pretty much throw all over the place. So the NFL is changing. I mean, I don't know if it's for the better or not, but I mean, with all these new rules and policies. And then let's go ahead and just jump right into it while we're here in the NFL topic. The Sam situation. Michael Sam, I believe it is. He is the first openly gay player out of Missouri to be drafted. He went in the 7th round, I believe. Gonzo.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with gays, and I don't have a problem with gays, period. The problem I have is the guy. I was listening to talk radio this morning, and they're all going on saying he's not boosting his name, because if he did, he wouldn't have said he was openly gay and then would have dropped in the draft. The problem is, a lot of people are saying if he didn't go out there and say he was openly gay, he might not have got drafted. So, to me, and it's just been released today, or at least it's going over the wires, that Michael Sams has just made a contract deal with O Network to have his own reality show. The cameras are supposed to be following this guy around the
with Oprah
the team,
network, yeah.
The team while he's doing his training camp. The Rams are not going to allow that to happen.
Oh no, they're not. They're not going to allow the cameras into their camp. They're not going to have this. No, if they wanted a spectacle, they would have drafted Manziel.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a key part, folks. This is just my thinking on it. if they knew all this before the draft, I don't think they would have drafted the guy.
No, I don't think so either. Now, see, and that's the whole intent. You look at some of these last few drafts and stuff, and a lot of the guys who have brought that baggage, they've gone down in the bottom of the thing.
Yeah.
You know, of the draft, and you know, pretty much they've got weeded out, or they've conformed to a certain standard. You know?
Right.
Manziel, on the other hand, you know, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that why he went down so far. But with this guy, I think you know, they picked him up in the last little bit of round for whatever reason. I don't know.
Well,
you know,
let's give him credit. He was number one. He's a defensive back of the year for the
for Missouri.
Right. Well, for the whole
for
their conference,
right,
which is the big one.
Yeah. Which is fine, but there's a bunch of other guys that are the same thing. You know, when he came out, I think a lot of people got scared because they thought, oh, well, if I don't draft him, then, you know, I'm going to look bad.
Because we're gay bashers or something.
You know, and this and that. So even though I think he went in the late rounds and it was a decent pick, but now with all this other stuff coming out, his true colors are kind of showing up.
Exactly.
You know, and especially with that kiss around the world that was seen around the world with ESPN.
They kind of just saturated the whole.
That is still going on, and that's stuff that, you know, we don't even want to get on that. So
well, the whole thing is a lot of people are upset because, you know, the two men kissing on the network, and then they broadcasted it every 10 seconds. This is my problem. It's not that he wants to kiss his partner. That's fine. Men and women kiss their partners, and it's no big deal. It's the fact that it's because it's two men that they want to just obviously shove it down our throats. Like, we are going to show that it's okay that two gay guys can kiss on network TV. Right. Not on a movie set, but in reality. And then, okay, so they did the kiss, but then it was like every 10 seconds you had to watch it again. Yeah. And then the whole explanation, and then the whole reasoning, and then everything else. And it's like, okay, this guy wants to be treated as a normal player, then be a normal player. Right. You don't go get contracts for reality shows and have... First of all, you're not a normal player, and you are a big distraction if you have cameras following you around training camp when no one else does.
Oh, yeah.
That also could cause resentment, too, by the other players.
Exactly.
Oh, he's only getting this because he's gay, and there's already all the problems with guys not accepting gays already in NFL. So this just makes it even worse. And then the guy wants everyone to feel sympathetic to him, which I can understand, the first to come out and be openly gay. Then you don't go and get all these shows. You don't go out and get all these deals where you're in front of the TV because you're just gay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if he wanted to be treated as a normal human being, he just should have just shut his mouth and just let it go. Nobody needed to know he was gay. You know, nobody needed to know any of that stuff.
Well, that could be the case if you're looking at it from that avenue, but even if he did.
But you got to look back at it. I mean, all of a sudden he came out right before the combine.
Right.
Okay? That was the starting point. Because right then and there, everybody started backing him, the gay community.
Yeah, he started doing all the shows. He started doing all the little...
And everybody was, you know, oh. So they took away from other prospects, the draft picks. Everybody was focused on this guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, folks, whether you like it or not, the fact of the matter is, this guy he's getting his 10 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
He really is.
Well, they already said...
And it's because he's gay, and that's not right. If you're gay, fine. Love you, God keep you, bless you, whatever. Play football, move on. But this guy is milking it.
Yeah, and the thing is what you got to also remember, too, is that the coach for the Rams has already said most 6th-round picks do not last. Yeah. We cut 6th-round picks.
And believe me, when they try to get cameras in their locker room, they're going to be like, she better get out of here with that crap. There's no way. You know what I mean? Okay, well, we can't spend all day on that. So basically the way we're going to look at it is, fine if you're gay, be happy, be you know who you want to be, but let's not saturate it and shove it down everybody's throat like it's like everyone's just going to accept it because they just throw it down our throats. It's not going to happen. Okay, moving on with that, we have to touch base on this Sterling situation. Now, we were on the NBA earlier. Folks, I have to say, I've been doing research and I've been looking at this story very closely for the last few months, I think. Maybe 30 days, something like that. Now, Donald Sterling is the owner of the Clippers, okay? He's also a multi-billionaire, owns all kinds of complexes and apartment housing and stuff all over the world, I'm sure. Now, he came out, or it was released on an interview, that it wasn't even an interview. He was being taped by, let's just say, his girlfriend at the time.
What they're saying now is that he was set up by his girlfriend.
Well, and it could have been. No one knows except for the two that were there. But the audio has been released over the last couple, 3-4 weeks, whatever it's been. It's been about a month. That he's had racial comments. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know about you, Gonzo, but back in the day when you're like talking to one of your girls, or you're trying to, put your thumb down and be a little, I don't know, I want to say controlling, but you want your girl to listen to what you have to say, and you listen to this conversation, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a man who's 80 years old, for heaven's sake, talking to his girlfriend who's like 40, 50 years younger than he is, and he doesn't like the idea of her bringing men to his games. Whether the girl could have brought purple guys, and I think he would have said the same thing. But because they were blacks, that's just what came out.
Yeah.
If they were Mexican, I'm sure he would have said the same thing. But now the black community and the white community that overcompensate for these racial comments and feel like they feel so bad about what's happened in our country's history, that now they want to put this guy on a spigot. They want this guy, literally put on a spaceship and shot off the planet. That's how much they're ostracizing this guy.
Right.
And I don't understand it, because how many people say racist things all the time?
Right.
So what do you think about it? What's your take on this?
I think it was, the conversation and everything that was said, I think it was all taken out. You haven't heard the whole thing, you only heard the snippets.
It's taken out of context, yeah.
Some of it might have been taken out of context. Now, if you do your research like you have and stuff, you know that there's other stories out there of him and his wife, acting this way.
Right. This isn't the first time
So people have known this, for a while, that he's been this way. Unfortunately, he said what he said. He came out. I know there's other people that probably say worse stuff on a daily basis.
Exactly.
But you never hear anything about that just because they're never recorded.
Right.
But this guy happened to be recorded. He happens to be a prominent person in LA.
Exactly.
The fact that he has money and he owns all this stuff seems to be the scenario is that's what happens with these people, that they end up saying things or doing things, whatever. But I agree with you. He was trying to control his girlfriend. He was just trying. I think what he was trying to say was, instead of saying the black people, I think he was trying to just say thug people. In that scenario. But at his age and stuff, he probably just didn't even register. That's the way they talk.
The guy's old and losing his mind from what people are saying.
And so,
Is he a racist? We don't know. Yeah, but I can tell you this right now: a true racist doesn't hire black guys and black communities the way he does and gives them the keys to his team.
Well, he was already up for an award from the NAACP.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does that roll in?
Gonzo, and I'm gonna get a little personal here, a little real here. It just bugs the crap out of me that some of the black community and some of the black, I don't want to say people, but there's a small percentage that are too sensitive. That are, I'm sorry, like we were talking the other day off air and off camera, you have to be over 50 years old to even know what that stuff's like.
Right.
Okay? If you're not over 50 years old, guess what? You and I have seen just as much racism as a black person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've gone somewhere and not got served. I've gone somewhere and got put to the back of the line, or had to wait till every other person went through that wasn't white, and then finally they call, or you just walk away or whatever.
Right.
So it just bugs me that when anybody says something about the black community, it's like Jesse Jackson's at their front doorstep.
Yeah.
Why doesn't that happen with any other race? You can make fun of Chinese. You can make fun of Asians, Jews, Mexicans. You can make fun of any other race or say anything. And why is it that it's not the end of the world? Why is it? I know that's a deep. I know that's a lot deeper.
I think it all depends on what is done. I mean, you just said it yourself. I mean, you look at the Mexicans. I mean, we have NAACP, and not really like an NAACP. We have LULAC, which is supposed to be like an equivalent of NAACP.
And they don't do shit.
And they don't do anything.
Excuse my language, but they don't do.
They don't do anything. You know, they go out and protest every now and then, but they don't really do anything other than fight with immigration, which is fine. Okay, but it doesn't help any of us that's here trying to work and get a job and fall into that category. White people, they just, they don't really have anybody for them, other than lawyers and their money. You know, if that's the case.
Keep talking, sir. Take over for the show.
The other thing is you've got the Chinese who really don't have a voice. I mean,
right.
They have a voice, their own voice, but there's nothing really for them either. So, going back to all that, I mean, it's really hard that, we're thick-skinned. We pretty much just don't care, that things seem like, we can take it. But now anymore, it seems like, anybody can sue anybody can do whatever they want to when somebody says something they don't like.
Right. No, and I agree. Real quick, folks, this is my baby girl, Kiara. Kiara, say hi to everybody out there. Huh? Anyway, I totally agree with you. It's to a point though where it's frustrating as a non-white person to see why white people are upset with people that aren't white, because they feel like you can't say anything without getting sued.
No freedom of speech.
Yeah, there's no freedom of speech anymore, and the black community is pushing this to the utmost of limits. And the reason why I say that is because look back at the history. Look at the guy that was on the Eagles last year. Help me with his name. The guy that said the N-word at a concert. Wasn't even at work, was at a concert, and the next thing you know, he has his fellow black teammates saying, they can't play with him. This is another thing, folks. Riley Cooper. You can't even use your own freedom of speech anymore. Unless it can be about any other race, any other topic. You can bash anything except blacks or gays. It seems like you hit those two topics, and you got the world coming down on you. And I don't understand it, because Mexicans are people of color. We get prejudice and racist against us all the time. Asians, I don't know if you realize this, but back in the 100, 200 years ago, it was my majority of Asians that helped build the railroads, and they probably weren't doing it for free or weren't doing it for a lot of money or by choice.
Right.
But and that's again a whole nother subject, but it's just like this button just is very offensive to me when blacks who want to cry racism for every little thing. And I'm not going to sit on my soapbox with this too long, but I do have to say this. It's came out that LeBron James, Charles Barkley, some other NBA players are actually saying that if this guy still owns the team next season, that they're going to boycott. They're not going to play. Well,
they just said something last night right after the game on with the Heat and Nets that actually LeBron did not agree to that.
He did
not. He did not agree that he would walk out or boycott.
Okay.
So
well, the specific quote I saw was that he feels that neither Donald Sterling or any one of his family should be allowed to own that team. And this is the problem I have with that. And we were talking about it the other day. If I go out and I kill 5 people and I own businesses, everyone in the community has a right to say, hey, he cannot own those businesses. He's a murderer. Mm-hmm. But why in the world can't my grandson, nephew, niece, aunt, uncle, sister, brother, mother, father, why can't anyone else of my family take over my businesses and be in the clear?
Right.
So for this is my key, folks. There's no way that Donald Sterling should sell his team away from his family, because imagine his kids.
Yeah.
The money that they're going to generate, the revenue they generate, can provide for their family for the next who knows how many years.
Right.
And because he said something to a girlfriend in the privacy of their own home,
right.
These basketball players are going to demand that he just, maybe he should get out of it.
Yeah.
First of all, he's 80-something years old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Guy, go live on an island, sleep with 30-year-old women all you want, live a life. Sure, him, get out of there.
Right.
But any one of his kids or family members should be able to take that team over. It's his team. That doesn't make any sense. First of all, Barkley did come out and say it. Barkley's a bitch. Straight up punk, hypocrite. He said more racist things about people than anyone I've ever seen. All those other players are crying, oh, I'm not going to play. Please, you're making $20 million a year and you're going to cry because some guy said a racist statement. First of all, when people say that there's still racism, I'm not surprised, are you?
No.
We're not surprised. You know why? Because we know it's out there.
See it.
Yeah, it's no surprise to us. So why in the world the black community is acting like they just got set back 100 years? They didn't. It's a 80-some-year-old rich guy.
Yeah.
Of course he probably will say something racist.
Right.
I say racist stuff all the time. Doesn't mean I'm a racist. That doesn't. Anyway. Woo! I get this topic really gets me, folks, because I don't know why. White people will overcompensate when they hear something. Oh, we can never, just like the Redskins name.
Right.
Okay? If it's up to the natives, folks. If they don't like the name, let them protest it. Let them put it out there. Why are all these white people out there? Oh, change the name of the Redskins. It's offensive. No, not to you. You know what? It just doesn't make sense why white people overcompensate and the black community cry too much. It's amazing to me. But anyway, folks, we are going to have to end the show on that note because I don't even know the time frame. We've just been going by and talking and talking. But we are going to try to do, again, weekly shows, update shows. This has been the first show in what, like 3 months that we've been able to do?
3 or 4 months, yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed it. I know there was a lot of conversation, a lot of, crying on my soapbox. Again, we are not racist. We have no problems with gays. If we say what we say, it's because it's the truth, it's facts, it's real, and we're just trying to put it out there because it seems like no one else will. You have nothing else but people talking about like, oh yeah, Donald Sterling's a bad guy. Maybe he is a bad guy. He probably is a bad guy. I don't know him.
Right.
But if he gets out, then that's all that should matter.
Yeah.
That's all that should matter, folks. If he lets his brother or sister or wife or whoever take over the team, that does not mean it's him.
He should just leave and not have any influence.
Yeah, at all. So NBA players that have a problem with it, stop being freaking babies, you little bitches. That's what these guys are. So anyway, one thing we got to talk about real quick is June 21st, the Players Zone is having a huge multi-city battle tournament. If you are interested, get with your local shops or you can contact us here at the Players Zone and we'll give you the more information on it. We're going to have amazing prizes. It's an all-day event. There's going to be tournaments. There's going to be gameplay. There's going to be free prizes and food and drinks and not alcohol, sodas and waters. And it's going to be a good time. Remember, 575-257-0559 is the Player Zone or contact your local shop. We also got to thank Right On Time Air and Delivery Service. We got to thank, gosh, there's so many people. It should be in the Ruidoso newspaper, hopefully, if we get some help with our folks there and our hookups there. We got to thank Freestyle Jewelry and Freestyle Productions. Again, contact all of these companies through the Player Zone. Man, it's been a great show. Is there anything last that you would like to throw out there?
Not really.
Are you a gay basher?
No. No, not at all.
He's not a gay basher. We're not gay bashers, seriously, folks. So anyway, until next time, we got to thank everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hit us up on next week's Gonzo J Real, Baby Kiara. We will see you next week. Peace and much love.